Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to the CNBC TV 18 Mumbai newsroom. I'm Pavitra Parekh. With me is Ekta and you guys are tuned into your stocks. The market is really recovering right now. So we're still seeing around an 80-point cut, but there is a recovery and we're attempting a move higher once again. So recovery is led in large part by what's going on with the Nifty Bank. So let's pull that up as well, and that has just managed to break into the green, led by the PSU Bank Index, which is up around 0.8%. Private Bank Index has also moved into the green, but stocks like SBI have recovered a fair bit. IndusInd Bank at the at the high point of the day. A lot of the private names, Axis, holding up well in the green, and HDFC Bank also has recovered a lot, and it is absolutely at the flat line right now. So that's what's going on with the market action. We will talk more about this, but first up, let me invite Sonal on the show because she has a guest with her, and she's going to talk all about the tax announcements that came through from the budget. Sonal.
Thank you so much for that, Pavitra. Well, yes, a lot of announcements that were made in the budget. Some of them are going to impact our viewers, us, and of course, a lot of people who have foreign transactions or foreign remittances. So here, the tax collected at source has been increased from 5% to 20%. What could the impact be? What is the rationale here? Let's discuss it with Riaz Thingna, who's the partner tax at Grant Thornton Bharat, to discuss what the outlook going forward and what would it mean generally for people who are investing abroad or who are actually undertaking these transactions and traveling abroad via tour operators as well. Riaz, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Well, it's a steep hike, right? From 5% to 20% in terms of tax collected at source. What do you think was the rationale behind this, and which sectors or transactions do you think will be impacted here?
No, thanks, Sonal. Definitely, that is a steep hike. But first of all, there's no doubt that tax collection at source, or TCS, is an extremely efficient mode of collecting taxes for the government, a direct source of revenue for the government. The stated objective of the government is that through this amendment, individuals who are otherwise evading taxes, not paying taxes, will be incentivized to file the tax returns and come into the tax net. 5% was not considered an incentive enough, so that's why 20%. And also, it is assumed that most of the people who are making those remittances would be in a higher tax bracket. But in addition to all this, it does help in front-ending the tax collection significantly, and also monitoring the transactions of large e-commerce operators. But as you rightly said, the rate is significantly high, and it's going to impact all kinds of transactions across the board.
I take that point, and let's delve deeper into that, because, tax collected at source, of course, we can take the credit in our tax returns, and that is something which everyone will do. But that will take some time, right? 20% of their amount will be blocked till the time they can actually claim that credit. Do you think things like international investing or people traveling abroad via tour operators, that is something where they'll feel that, yes, our cash is getting blocked?
No, absolutely. 20% is a significantly large sum to be blocked. It will have a significant impact on cash flows. And remember that even the 7 lakh threshold limit has been removed, so that everybody will be covered, every remittance will be covered. Now, while you may argue that the credit for TCS will be available to the taxpayer, the time gap between the payment and credit will surely impact the transaction volumes. All kinds of transactions across sectors are going to be impacted. Tourism will be impacted, international investments, pilgrimages, immigration under the golden visas, under EB5, similar schemes, international purchases right across the board. The impact will be across.
Okay, so across the board impact. I just wanted one clarification here. Does it, or is it also applicable on, say, debit card transactions, credit card, or forex cards for that matter, if someone's going abroad and using them? Because that also is going to impact people who are using these cards, right?
Surely. No, in fact, all kinds of transactions which are otherwise classified under the Liberalised Remittance Scheme, the LRS, are covered. So debit cards, credit cards, forex cards, everything will be covered. In fact, there the bank will be collecting the tax. In fact, even some rupee payments, that when you have a payment made into an NRO account of a non-resident, if the transaction is something like a loan to the NRI or a gift to the NRI, even there, TCS will be applicable. So anything and everything to do with LRS, irrespective of the mode of payment, mode of transfer will be covered under this TCS scheme.
Okay, interesting. Last question before we let you go, and thank you for your inputs, at least on the other part of the rupee transactions as well. Of course, medical and education still has a limit there to 7 lakhs and the older rate as well. Do you think more changes are needed here? Because LRS was introduced, this taxation was introduced in 2020. Do you think there are more changes which are required in the scheme here as far as taxation is concerned?
Yeah, so for medical and education, now there are two categories. So you have one category of education expenses where the source of the funds is from a financial institution. Here the rate is at 0.5% of the remittance, above 7 lakhs. So there is no change in those rates. But the second category is where there's education and medical expenses other than those funded by loans. Here there'll be a 5% TCS, and yet the threshold of 7 lakhs will apply. So, you know, while one can argue that the rate should be lower, the threshold should be higher, but under the present climate, I think that is a wish list. But honestly, it may not have such an impact because most of the remitters are in the higher tax bracket. But the problem is on another issue. So, you know, all the associated expenses, other than the main expense of education, like accommodation, food, day-to-day expenses, these of the children who are studying abroad, here they would not be covered under education, and therefore the TCS rate of 20% will apply on all those expenses. So that is something that maybe would, you know, some clarification there or some relief there would even come.
Okay, point taken, Riaz. Thank you so much for taking us as to what this change means as far as the general population is concerned as well, those who are actually undertaking these foreign transactions. Thank you so much for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. And with that, it's back to you guys.
Thanks, Sonal, for that. Well, back to the markets, there was a bit of news which just flashed by on Cipla. So we'll just take that. Cipla's Indore facility, we do understand from sources, is currently getting inspected by the US drug regulator. We do understand from sources that this inspection has begun today and it could be a surprise inspection. It is important in the larger context for Cipla because there are a couple of inhaler drugs in their pipeline which is possibly going to see the light of day in FY24. And separately, their Goa facility, which is one of their more important facilities when it comes to the US, has been issued a warning letter in 2020, and that official action indicated status continues in 2022. So that resolution of the warning letter has still not been undertaken for the Goa plant. So in that context, the Indore facility getting inspected does become quite important for Cipla. We need to take a short break, but here's some exciting news. The most coveted leadership awards are